And here we are at the reviewing area, and here is one of the G.I. Joes we're reviewing, which is Sergeant Stalker, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, we do have two of these figures. The one that you see here is the like smaller, almost like 3/4 inch figure, but we also have a like bit bigger size for version of this figure. But first we're gonna take a closer look at this one.
Yes, we're going to take a closer look at this one right quick. We're going to show you the removables and the detachments that it has compared to the next guy that we have. Yes.
And this is part of the newest G.I. Joe line.
Yes, this is not the 1980s. This is the updated version of Stalker. And he looks awesome. And down there, I'm sorry, once Colton gets down there, that's what his face looks like. And he has his green beret on. And he has a couple of weapons that can be taken out of what he's holding, which in the 1980s all he had was one gun. We didn't have all the accessories that they have now today with them, even in that version right there.
So getting a closer look at the sculpting and detail work, and this stand here, this is what he comes with for this newer
Yes.
one.
Yes. And if you look down there, it says SGT Sergeant Stalker. So actually he is a sergeant like Sergeant Slaughter. So that's pretty neat.
And as you can tell here, you can attach him to the stand here by using these two stand pegs into these two holes here. And going back up and getting another closer look at his face here. But very nice sculpting and paintwork on the facial expression on his head here. All around, and does have the nice hat here. And going down to his body, nice camo work on the
pants and the jacket, his whole fatigue.
Right. He does have a lot of camo paint on his entire pants and shirt is what it's called.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's so his whole outfit is pretty much camouflaged. He's got pockets and signature pockets and stuff like that all around him. His sculpt in this mode is pretty nice. He's got the belt like webbing and stuff that he carries all around him. So I mean, he's basically ready for anything. So looks very nice, very good. Like I said, even in this mode right here, back in the 1980s, he only probably come with one gun and a backpack. We did have the 1980s version, but that was a long time ago, and I do not know whatever happened to him. So when I seen him, I had to pick him up because he brought back childhood memories. And like I said, it was a lot of fun with G.I. Joe and Transformers. Having them battle each other, the good, the bad. G.I. Joe with the Autobots teamed up, and Cobra and the Decepticons teamed up. And here we are later on. Now they're starting to trying to make a movie of the crossover. So,
yes,
and I know a lot of other kids done the same thing.
They are like, from what I saw, are planning on making a live action movie of G.I. Joe crossing over with Transformers, because I don't know if y'all in the y'all as the audience know, but at the end of Transformers: Rise of the Beast, there is a little sneak peek at, or I should say, spoiler for the next Transformers movie. Yeah. Which is going to be a crossover movie.
So it was pretty interesting because we had this going on even before the movie, and this was done in 1980s, where you had the G.I. Joes teamed up with the Autobots, and the Decepticons teamed up with Cobra, because it always worked real well. And then later on, once the comic books matured and stuff like that, then they had a crossover in the comic books. But that's as close as we got to any kind of movie, was the comic book crossover. G.I. Joe with Transformers. But we knew one day, once technology would catch up, it was possible.
But right now, it's kind of like it's still in the works, so yes. I don't know when it'll come out.
Yeah, so
it'll probably...
we'll have to see where they stand on it. And how things progress on it.
I think, from what I heard, it's probably going to be coming out next year.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see how it progresses, and I think with them doing a crossover, it's going to catch a lot more people's attention. I mean, you know, Transformers has already got a big base, but so does G.I. Joe. And now, like I said, we have the technology to make the kind of movies that we wish we saw or had in the 80s. So anyway, enough of that. We're going to get back to the review of this guy, because we got a lot more to cover. So with this guy, go ahead.
I do need to show off the articulation. So for the articulation, the head is on a ball joint, or is it on a ball joint?
Yes, it's on a...
Yes, yes, it is on a ball joint. So it does have a ball joint at the head, and he can look... Well, actually, he could not look up at all. But he can look down about that far. And for the arms, they can rotate all the way around, move out about, about there, and down. He does have an elbow joint and a swivel at the elbow, but no bicep swivel. And the hands do swivel, and this hand does have a hinge joint that goes up and down like this. And I think it's on both, yep. Both of his hands do have a hinge joint where they do move up and down like this. And the torso is on a ball joint here, which is kind of limited due to the straps and the belt around him. And the legs, I will have to remove the stand off. So he does have a ball joint at the torso, but not in the waist. The waist does not move. But the legs do move forward and back about there. Move in and out. Thigh swivel.
Excuse me.
Yeah, he does have a thigh swivel on both legs. Double jointed knees. Yeah, double jointed knees. And the feet do move up and down. And you do have an ankle pivot. Mm-hmm. And that's it.
Okay. Now.
And I will have to get him.
He is awesome with the added articulation that they gave him. And then he had a couple removable features. Now, he does have a bigger gun, which I could not find, so we just have him because there's something else we got to get on with this review. So I just grabbed what I knew was his, and I put it in his webbing right here. And Colton's going to show you what accessories he can actually use and pull out and use as weapons. Because in the 1980s, these were just all molded in. You couldn't take them out.
Well, this does have some molded in accessories that you cannot take out of as well. But there is a couple that he has on him that you can remove. And one of these, you can tell here, does remove, which is this thing. And that is a knife that you can store inside this sheath here and remove it and just cast it in a nice silver paint here. But you can have him hold it in his hands if you want to. And also on his holster here, you can pull out this little gun here that he comes with, that you can also have him hold it in both hands as well. And I'm gonna try and get him to hold it in his hand, just like that.
There you
go. And you can have him hold his knife, but I'm gonna have him hold his gun here.
And I think that is so great how they can actually grip it and basically put their fingers in the guard and the trigger. So, I mean, that is really awesome with today's technology. Because if y'all remember, like me, in the 1980s, you try this with the 1980s G.I. Joes, you could break their thumbs. Or you could break their fingers if you put too much stress on that plastic. So this is where we're at in definitely today's time and age. And from what I see with the G.I. Joe line, it just keeps getting better and better. From the 3/4 inch scales that we have here to the bigger ones. And the bigger ones, let me see, that looks like a water canteen. Let me see.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That does not remove.
Yes, that's a water canteen. Yeah, molded in water canteen. So with these guys, they just keep getting better. Now, this is my opinion because, like I said, they were both powerhouses in their own rights in the 1980s. And the people who love Transformers didn't like G.I. Joe that much. Well, I mean, there was a big fan base for Transformers. The people who like G.I. Joe compared to Transformers, there was a big fan base for them. But you get the best of both worlds when you incorporate both of them. That is for sure. So now, with this guy, they did an excellent job in today's time. Now.
And that's about it for this guy, right?
Yes.
So that is the review of this guy. Now we're going to be moving.
We're going to be moving on to this guy. Go ahead and move him out the way. And this guy right here.
Which I will have to zoom back the camera some.
Zoom back the camera.
This is the bigger scaled version of Sergeant Stalker.
Yep. This is what we have today in his big action form, which is awesome. And he comes with a plethora of accessories.
And getting a closer look here, real quick. Still nicely painted and sculpted head sculpt. And the head sculpt, I don't know about y'all, but his head sculpt almost kind of reminds me of Blade, the Marvel version of Blade, because he has like kind of the same likeness,
the same look in the face, kind of. I can see that.
Except he doesn't have any tattoos on his neck, like Blade, the Marvel character, does. The one that is that slays vampires.
So this is today's Stalker.
And the color scheme on the camo here, which you can tell is a lot more
muted, darker.
Whereas the other one, you can see, is a lot greener.
Yeah, the shades of green. So you can definitely tell the difference. But we're going from 3/4 to, this guy right here. There's different sizes, and they can just do a whole lot more with these type of figures. Compared to 3/4, you can only do so much.
And for this guy, he's wearing some fingerless gloves on him.
And just like the other one, he's got pouches all over him.
Which some you can remove, but others, like this thing.
I don't think you can remove that without cutting it. I could be wrong, but I don't know.
and this knife here, which you can remove on the smaller one, but this one
is molded in.
Which means you cannot remove it.
Right, which there's the difference. There's some of the differences. On a 3/4, they made it to where the knife could come out. On this one here, a knife can come out all right, but it's not it's not in that spot. They just molded it in.
And now for articulation. The head, oh, first I gotta zoom in some. The head can swivel all the way around, can look up really good, and down really good. Oh, and his head is on a ball joint, but on the base of the neck, it's also on a
ball
joint as well. You can see there.
Yes.
Arms can rotate all the way around, move in and out, and he does have like an armpit joint, or what most people like to call it, a butterfly joint. I call it an armpit joint. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, wrists can swivel, and they can move up and down on this hinge joint here.
Yeah, at the wrist, they have a little hinge joint where the wrist can move up and down.
But it can move up and down like this.
Yes.
Well, actually, for this figure, he has two different hinge joints. For this hand, it can move up and down here, but for this one, it can move up and down like this. But the hinge joints on both of these hands on this figure, as you can already tell, are kind of limited due to these sleeve parts here. But he does have an ab crunch here, because I can tell by this is a hinge joint here. But
you can only get so much out of it because of the webbing that's around him, the belt. You know,
oh,
so I mean,
well, actually, you can still move it, but, and like you heard, it is kind of on a ratchet joint. You can hear those clicks. But he does have a ball joint at the waist here, and the legs can move forward, back, and you can shift down the legs to give it more range. And move in and out, thigh swivel. He does have a thigh swivel. double jointed knees, and the feet can move up and down on like a softer ratchet, and an ankle pivot.
Now I believe his boots can turn. See? Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
his boots can also turn, which I did not do that on the other one.
Now, I don't know if you could do that on him. I don't know.
Oh, well, actually, you can on the smaller one. The smaller one's boots also swivel as well. I, I didn't know that.
So that is Stalker pretty much. Now we got a plethora of weapons and accessories he comes with. So that's the first one. That's his.
So for accessories, he comes with
A beret. A beret.
a beret, which is
Beret.
beret. This is a beret, which is his like hat here, and does have some nice gold paint here.
And which way does that go on him? Just goes right on top, just like that right there. Yep.
With the gold facing the front.
There you go. Put that on him. And push down. I think as far down as it'll go.
Just like that. And for weapons,
Now, you need to go ahead and show him this one right here. This goes on his back. Go over it a little bit because this gun comes out, and you see that little hole? That part goes in there.
the little hole.
Okay. Pull it out. Pull out the gun all the way. There we go. Now, you see the accessories? This right here is his backpack. His little backpack. This right here is his little handle that goes into...
Oh, that's a magazine
Yes.
thing.
Well, it's a handle. It's kind of like a handle.
Okay.
It grabs one hand here and another hand here, I believe. I think that's what it is. Or it could be a magazine. I don't know.
And this attaches to his back.
Correct.
So he does come with this little holster here for this gun
Yes.
and this
Yep.
handle.
Handle. Yeah, handle, magazine, however you...
does
It does.
remove.
Right, it does pull off. There you go. And
And like y'all saw, or barely saw, you can slide it into here.
right,
And for the handle,
it goes in right there.
it goes into
Yes,
this
that's
hole.
square. Yep. This way it's all contained in one.
Yeah.
And then this straps onto his back.
Or
There's a hole.
or pegs into
Yes.
his back from this hole and this peg. But you do need to make sure that the strap where the hole is at is lined up from this hole here.
Yes. Just there you go.
Just like that.
Yep. Now that's one of his guns. Now, this is another part to him that is a gun. Right there. That's one of his heavy artillery guns right there.
And as you can tell here, the gun on this one is kind of a little bit bent a little. You can tell, but by the top here, which I think you could take a hair dryer to kind of get this straight some.
Yeah.
Because as you can tell, it is kind of bent a little.
Yeah. So with this gun right here, I got to looking at it, and then you're going to turn it around. Let me see. Okay, turn it around one more time. Okay. Then I started wondering, I was like, well, what is this? And then it dawned on me what this was. Okay. Now, what you're going to do is there's a hole in the bottom right here.
Okay, there's a hole there.
Mm-hmm. This right here is a magazine clip.
Yes.
And then what you're going to do is take it.
Take that tab that y'all saw and attach it to that hole.
As soon as I can get my big fingers out the way. Yeah.
Yeah. And the bullets would feed through here.
Right.
And that's how you get that in.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you can have him hold it in either one of his hands here.
Right, and we'll do that here in a minute. Right now, we're still going with his accessories. This right here, I didn't think that comes out. No, it don't. This right here is
a little handgun here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
just
one more thing about this.
Okay.
This does not store anywhere on him, right?
I don't know. I haven't tried it on this. I don't think so. I don't think so.
Because I could tell all around him there's nowhere to store this into.
Okay.
But if there is storage for this gun, let us know in the comment section below.
Right. Now, this right here is his handgun, just like his other smaller compadre, is same handgun.
And it does have a little magazine here, which...
No, it's sculpted into the plastic.
Which does not remove.
So...
And of course, he can hold it in both of his hands. Right. Or, if you don't want to have him hold it in his hands, then there's a holster here that you can fit it
correct
into for weapon storage.
Right. For weapon storage. Now, I'm going to give you something. You tell me where it goes. And you tell me what it is. Look at that. I know what it is.
This is a walkie-talkie.
Well, yeah, okay. It's like a little communicator radio, walkie-talkie. Okay, I can go with that.
Or a communicator.
Okay, I can pretty much go with any of that. Yeah, that's pretty good.
To use to talk to someone into.
Yeah, to talk to his fellow G.I. Joes, whoever else has a radio.
And I think I can tell where.
Where does that go?
I'm guessing here.
Yes. Next time I'm not going to show you anything. I'm just going to give you a whole puzzle pieces and puzzles and say, right there, figure it out. Very good.
Right there.
So what we have right now is we got 2 assault guns, and then you have his pistol, then you have his radio, and
the last accessory that he comes with is his little knife here.
Knife, dagger, I don't know, you know.
Or I think it's called a hunting knife.
I don't know what, you know. So now it's interesting because give me that. Okay. It's interesting because with a 3/4, they molded with the 3/4, they got it to where this knife can come out and pull down. Where on this bigger version, they just molded it right in to the cast. But they did give him another knife. Where on the 3/4, you have a pocket right there. You don't have a knife. You have a pocket. And actually, you can see the pocket right there.
Oh, yes. Sculpted.
Yep.
there.
You can see the pocket right here, like on a 3/4. So this was something that they added for sure to give that more of a flair to his character, I guess. So go ahead and sheath it, and he can hold it in either hand.
Of course. And as you can tell on the sheath, you can slide this knife into just like that.
There we go.
And
Now
that is all the accessories that he comes with. And we're gonna have him hold his little Gatling gun.
not. That's a gun that will make you pay attention. That's for sure. You know. Yeah, that's it. Get right, boomstick right there. That's what that is. So I love the way that they can articulate the G.I. Joes now. There is a whole lot more articulation compared to what we had. And I'm not downing it or anything. It's really nice what they're doing with the G.I. Joe line.
And that is it for this figure. So now let's get the smaller one.
Yeah, let's get the smaller one. This way you got big stalker, little stalker. There we go. That is awesome.
And there they are. Together.
The 3/4 and then the granddaddy. No, the big daddy. The one with the bigger boomstick. So I like it. It is awesome what they are doing with, like I said, the G.I. Joe line. I have seen this for a while out there. I think in the beginning it was kind of rough, but I think as they go on, they get better and better with it as far as the articulation and the joints and what can move and what looks natural.
Right.
So with that, we are going to get with our, well, let me stop. Colton, is there anything else before we go to our final thoughts that you want to say?
I don't have anything else to say, but to get to our final thoughts.
Okay, so we'll see y'all here in a minute.